in the field because I'd be a little bit more, or I'd be locked in the whole time. I can just kind of take the first inning and just look around and then lock in from there. Yeah.
Well, I just heard a roar behind me, so something good must have happened. I don't have my phone out, can't check the ESPN app, and I can't see the scoreboard right now. But coming up tonight on the late edition of Sports Unlimited, we're going to recap the O's home opener against the New York Yankees. We're going to hear from Brandon Hyde. We're going to hear from players about a very big day here at Camden Yards. For now, live at Camden Yards, Rocco DeSangro for Sports Unlimited.
And it was a cloudy day for the home opener. And as we head into tomorrow, clouds linger. We're talking temperatures reaching the mid-50s by the afternoon, but the sunshine finally returns on Easter Sunday. High temperatures reach the upper 50s and the low 60s. It'll be a lovely day. And then as we head into the rest of the week, our temperatures gradually rise, approaching the 80s. I'll let you know how high the numbers get coming up in my full forecast in about 20 minutes. Back to you.
Thank you, Jasmine. Coming up on Fox 45 News at 6 o'clock, a funeral for the Baltimore boxer killed in a mass shooting 2 weeks ago. The growing violence in Baltimore. And Baltimore County has a new person nominated for police chief, the veteran nominated for that position.
A live look at Oriole Park as the birds return home for the first time in 2023. Why the game day traffic is just the beginning of the Friday night rush downtown. And just 3 full days left in session 2023, and there appears to be movement on Ivan Bates' bill that would increase maximum sentences in illegal gun crimes. The compromise in the works. And the historic nomination in Baltimore County, a new leader selected for the police department. The changes he's promising in hopes of getting an upper hand on crime.
Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 News at 6.
Right now at 6, the O's and rival Yankees open the home slate at Oriole Park. A sellout crowd expected as two teams with very high expectations and dislike for each other take the field. Right now, our Rocco DeSangro is at the ballpark getting ready for the post-game interviews with manager Brandon Hyde, and the players will have that for you right here at Fox 45 News at 10 during Sports Unlimited. And we also will share your fan photos. Go to foxbaltimore.com and tap Chime In at the top to upload. You can also do so directly through the free Fox 45 News app. And right now, the crowds are only growing downtown after the ribbon cutting at the newly renovated CFG Bank Arena. Bruce Springsteen, the Boss, and the E Street Band will take the stage tonight, just 90 minutes from now. Traffic around the area and Oriole Park is bad and only going to get worse, so you should plan alternate routes if your destination is not downtown. And now to a city in crisis, the latest victim of gun violence in Baltimore, a 9-year-old girl. She was shot in the ankle yesterday afternoon in the southeast Baltimore area, the youngest victim of the triple shooting yesterday. The shooting really has shaken up her neighborhood.
You know, I just hope he all right. God got his arms around him, you know. Because I don't think if it was a he or she, you know, they ain't deserve that, you know. They kids growing up in a neighborhood like this.
That little girl is expected to be okay. Tonight, there is still no description of who might have opened fire along McElderly Street. And the continued violence, especially affecting young people, has prompted calls for leaders in Annapolis to pass a series of laws that some hope will help reduce crime. Fox 45's Mackenzie Frost is at the State House with just 3 full days left in session 2023.
Senate Bill 1, that's a piece of legislation that looks to curb where legal gun owners can bring their firearms in public, really has been a priority for most of the Democrats here in Annapolis during this session. But there have been some other pieces of legislation looking at safe storage plans, but really the tougher penalty plans, mainly pushed by Republicans, have stalled. One specifically, the Violent Firearms Offender Act, which supporters say would help crack down on repeat gun offenders, especially repeat violent offenders. That piece of legislation was a priority for former Governor Larry Hogan and continues to be introduced by Republicans. One GOP senator tells me it's like Groundhog Day with some of these plans.
The joke is, you know, they're on the side of milk cartons trying to find them because we can't find these bills. They're stuck in committee.
Why do you think they are stuck in committee? Where's the political will?
I don't know. I mean, I wish I could answer that.
Good afternoon.
Democrats see it very differently. Chair of the Senate Judicial Proceedings Committee, Senator Will Smith, says the caucus has made curbing violence a priority, even though some of those tough on crime bills won't move forward.
Public safety is our #1 priority, and we've put forth legislation that I think will make every Marylander safer. There's still more coming. We're still, in 15 minutes, we're going back into committee to deal with some more of those issues that deal with gun violence, not only in Baltimore City, but throughout the state of Maryland. So public safety is and always has been our #1 priority.
And that bill that has been a priority by City State's Attorney Ivan Bates that seeks to level the playing field for sentences for misdemeanor gun offenders, that intent has been added to a different House bill. The Senate is expected to move forward with it on Friday, then sending it over to the House, setting up for a final vote potentially on the final day of session come Monday. In Annapolis, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
Another major issue from session 2023 is education funding, specifically related to the Blueprint for Education, or the Kerwin Plan. After Mayor Brandon Scott called the mandatory funding requirement a gut punch upon finding out it was several times more than they had forecast, other jurisdictions are also grappling with the shocking costs. Now Republicans have long criticized the 10-year education spending plan as too expensive and without guaranteed improved outcomes for children. Democrats overrode former Governor Larry Hogan's veto of the bill, but now they may be open to tweaking the plan.
I don't agree with the mayor of Baltimore very often, but in this case, I certainly do. You know, I've got counties on the Eastern Shore that have said for the entire time since Kerwin has been passed that they cannot afford it. So there's going to be one or two things that happen. Either the formulas change for funding or we see some type of Kerwin light.
Are you open to changing the funding formula for locals who are worried that they can't continue to tap their reserves moving forward?
I think we're always back every year, and I think we're always open to make sure if the facts and data are there, we will address it. You know, certainly we know on May 1st when the public emergency, when the emergency is expired, there will be a change in calculations, and Medicaid will have a redetermination, and we'll see what the roles look like with the changes in qualifications. But that's why we have our interim committee.
We will keep a close eye on this as Sine Die comes fast. It's Monday night. Fox 45 News is making your voice heard. Scan the QR code on your screen. That will take you to our website where we've put together a list of email addresses and phone numbers for your state senators and delegates. Beloved Baltimore boxer Ernest Hall laid to rest today following his murder on March 23rd. Hall was one of 6 people shot along Edmondson Avenue. Hall owns the Lightning Quick Fit Gym in Mount Vernon and competed at the 2016 Olympic trials. A 15-year-old was arrested in connection to the murder. And today, a guilty verdict in a deadly stabbing trial in Baltimore. 26-year-old Brandon Bashore accused of stabbing and killing 33-year-old Darrell Hudson 2 years ago in East Baltimore. Bashore claimed it was in self-defense, but a jury found him guilty of second-degree murder. That will come with a maximum of 40 years in prison. Today, Baltimore County Executive Johnny Olszewski nominating Robert McCullough to serve as chief of police. The 3-decade veteran of the force promised changes are coming. Fox 45's Vincent Hill was at the announcement and shares McCullough's vision for fighting crime in the county.
Yeah, out with the old way of thinking and in with the new. That's according to Baltimore County's new potential top cop, Robert McCullough.
I'm honored to take part in this historic announcement.
A history-making day in Baltimore County. County Executive Johnny Olszewski nominating Robert McCullough as the first black police chief.
An 18-year-old kid from West Baltimore. My goal was not to make history. My goal was to work hard.
McCullough served with the Baltimore County Police for over 35 years before his retirement in 2021. With his confirmation still looming, McCullough already making a promise to residents.
Every person in Baltimore County deserves to feel safe and know they are safe in the places where they live, work, and raise their families.
A top concern after a rash of violent crimes, including 3 people sexually assaulted at gunpoint and the murder of a 17-year-old Baltimore City teen, both in the heart of Towson.
My worst nightmare is to get the call that I don't have a son anymore. That's where this town is heading, unfortunately, and it's supposed to be a nice college and a nice town.
For months, county leaders giving the same answer when it comes to stopping crime, including the former interim chief, Dennis Delp.
Using technologies like a license plate reader, additional cameras, and that they may be covert or non-covert cameras in the area to assist with deterrence and apprehension purposes.
McCullough says it's time for a different strategy.
You can't just keep using the same thing over and over again. You know, the bad guys, they pick up on those things too. So,
although he acknowledges technology is a tool in deterring crime, McCullough says fighting crime comes down to boots on the ground.
We'll use a variety of different techniques and rotate those things to address it, but we will be proactive, not reactive when it comes to crime.
Another concern from county residents McCullough is hoping to address.
Not really the people living in the neighborhood, but other people coming through.
Crimes that seem to spill over from Baltimore City into Baltimore County.
From day one, I'll be reaching out to Commissioner Harris, and crime knows no boundaries. So we'll be working together.
Now, McCullough's confirmation hearing is scheduled for next week with a final vote scheduled for April 17th. In Baltimore County, Vincent Hill, Fox 45 News.
Now, a Fox 45 News alert in 3, 2, 1.
Israel says Palestinian assailants carried out a pair of attacks in Israel today. Israeli authorities said an Italian tourist was killed and 5 other Italian and British citizens were wounded when a car rammed into a group of tourists in Tel Aviv, Israel's commercial hub. The fighting on both sides has escalated since police raids at the Al-Aqsa Mosque that's in Jerusalem, and that happened earlier this week. Israel's military force is continuing to boost its presence along the Lebanon border after launching airstrikes against both Gaza and Lebanon earlier this week. Maxine.
Coming up, who wouldn't recognize that bright orange beard? The Orioles tribute to Traffic Jam Jimmy at the first home opener since his passing.
We are in for a pretty quiet weekend. If you're traveling anywhere for Easter tomorrow, expect cloudy skies. Otherwise, you have the green light. I'll let you know what to expect for Easter coming up in my Weather Authority forecast.
Academic divide. I'm Angela Brown in Washington, D.C. It's not just red and blue states, it's higher education taking partisan sides.
Fox 45 News, winner of 17 2022 Regional Emmy Awards, more than all other Baltimore news stations combined.
Big day in Baltimore with the Orioles home opener and a very kind gesture for which we are grateful. The Orioles honoring Traffic Jam Jimmy, who passed away last spring. He loved the O's and certainly would have had his beard orange today. Well, a new season brings new hopes for Orioles fans, and the team will play in front of a bigger crowd after last year's turnaround. The sellout crowd was expected today, but with those fans decked out in orange and black, the expectations are high. Parents and fans we talked to hope to be here throughout the spring and summer. Today, hopefully not the only packed house.
It's a great kickoff for the spring. The kids love watching their team play, and the crowd's electric.
How many losses we have, we're not losing another game. We're winning the World Series. I'm saying we're winning the World Series.
He's calling it, and it's going to be a nonstop weekend for bars and restaurants downtown. The O's and Yankees are back at it Saturday and Sunday. And how about this? After the Boss tomorrow, the Eagles play CFG Bank Arena next. Well, many may argue that America is already differentiated by having either red or blue states, but could colleges be next? The National Desk's Angela Brown is looking into if state policies are influencing where students go to college.
The policy differences are stark in some cases. Some Democrat-led states requiring colleges to offer abortion medication, while some of the top colleges still requiring SAT scores are in Republican-led states. These state policy decisions could shape college decisions. This high school sophomore has big dreams.
She's like, well, Mom, I do think I want to play in college. She's deciding if she wants to play D1 or D2.
For Day's mom, playing lacrosse isn't the only factor.
I think cost and distance will be and continue to be the two main factors for lots of parents.
But for others, it's policy. A new poll from Art and Science Group finds 1 in 4 students ruled out institutions solely due to the politics, policies, or legal situation in the state.
The people who are making these decisions are not actively involved on these campuses.
Dr. Sharon Austin, a professor at the University of Florida, a plaintiff in this lawsuit to block the Stop Woke Act, restricting the teaching of race in Florida.
It's hard enough for us to even recruit Black students, especially at many of our universities, especially here at UF. And it's not because they don't have the grades or the credentials to get in, it's because they don't want to come here.
This article in the Washington Post points out if more students pick colleges that they perceive to be more like-minded, it could further advance the polarization. State policy not a factor for Day and her mom.
We are a conservative family, but we believe that our children can get and will receive a quality academic education regardless of the state that they're attending, whether it's blue or red.
Whether the state is considered a blue or a red state, another trend is becoming more dominant in recent years. More college-educated voters are voting for Democrats, while more voters without a college degree prefer Republicans. In Washington, D.C., I'm Angela Brown.
And here's a look at today's top trending stories. Number 1, federal vehicle safety investigators now joining a crash after a Tesla struck a student getting off a school bus last month. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration today said it will look into what was behind the crash of a 2022 Model Y that hit a 17-year-old while a school bus had its stop sign out and flashing lights on. The deployment of a special investigation team is assigned. The agency is concerned autopilot or full self-drive might have been in use. Tesla maintains those are meant as driver assist features despite their names. And number 2, the job market remains hot with the numbers just in from March. The Labor Department today said U.S. employers added 236,000 jobs in March. That's down by 90,000 jobs from the month prior, but a pace signaling a strong employment market. Right now, the unemployment rate has fallen to 3.3%. And number 3, it's time to save the date for the next solar eclipse. Saturday marks exactly 1 year from the next eclipse that will cut right through the United States from northeastern Canada and down to Texas into Mexico. While we might not get the spectacular view we saw in 2017, we won't hopefully will be able to see a partial eclipse with those special glasses.
Right now, you're taking a look over Baltimore, over Camden Yards, and we're seeing a few fireworks. Looks great. We had the orange showing, and then over Towson, nice and quiet there. On the HD radar, you'll notice a few showers. Fortunately, those are out of our area, and we're looking at a nice and quiet forecast as we prepare for the next weather maker coming a little later. It's going to be another cloudy day tomorrow, so if you're planning on seeing the O's, just keep that in mind. Temperatures right now at 55 with winds out of the west-northwest around 10 miles per hour. The rain is starting to push out of the state. Fortunately, here in Baltimore, we've been dry for the past several hours. Temperatures are mainly in the 50s. We've got the 40s in far western Maryland and more sunshine there. We'll keep on to the clouds here overnight as our temperatures fall to the 30s and the 40s. It'll be a cool morning, and then by the afternoon, temperatures on the cooler side once again will stay below average. Our temperatures only reach the mid-50s, but we start a rising trend after that. 61 on Easter Sunday, then on Monday, temperatures in the mid-60s, and the numbers will trend upward after that. Clouds will remain as we head into the night and the rain clears. Then tomorrow morning, we start in the 30s and 40s. Clouds remain by the afternoon again. Temperatures stay below average, only reaching the mid-50s. Then as we head into the evening, temperatures still in the 40s and 50s. It will start to get a little cooler after that. Clouds clear, and by Sunday morning, we'll wake up to dry conditions and plenty of sunshine, but temperatures start in the 30s and 40s. Some areas could be looking at freezing conditions, especially north and west of the city. If you have any plans, be sure to cover them or bring them inside. By the afternoon, we're in for a nice warm-up as temperatures reach the upper 50s and the low 60s. Monday will be a gorgeous day as well, with plenty of sunshine and those temperatures even higher in the mid-60s. 42 for the low temperature with mostly cloudy skies. Then tomorrow, we stay overcast. Temperatures will reach the mid-50s. Winds will be out of the northeast around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And for Easter Sunday, it looks great. By the end of the week, we're hitting the 80s. I'll let you know what the forecast looks like in the exclusive 10-day forecast.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
As the saying goes, from drought to deluge. This was the first time in a long time that we're able to see scenes like this from Austin, Texas. An all-day soaking beneficial rain. Austin Bergstrom Airport set a record on Thursday of 1.88 inches. It's been since August that the area has seen a rainy day such as this, but it'll take many more to totally get out of their severe drought.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Twitter.
The community here is very welcoming and warming.
The war in Ukraine taking its toll on soldiers tonight, the wounded coming to America, and the bond forged by a common cause. More than a full year into Russia's war on Ukraine, injured soldiers are arriving in the United States. 2 are receiving rehab help from the Lakeshore Foundation in Alabama, adjusting to new prosthetics. Bobby Poivin from our Sinclair sister station in Birmingham shows how, despite language barriers, the soldiers and volunteers are helping each other.
28-year-old Mikhailo Vavarch is preparing for a big surprise for his fiancée.
They are planning to get married in the United States.
While that's one life change coming next week, another one is learning how to walk again. He and another Ukrainian soldier lost their legs from the knees down after a landmine explosion. Activities like crank cycle and tennis are helping Vavarch build up his strength. Prosthetic legs are allowing him to walk again.
But when he needs to go uphill or downhill, it's just very hard.
The Lakeshore Foundation in Birmingham and Florida-based nonprofit Revived Soldiers Ukraine teamed up to make all of this possible. Now, the 2 soldiers are first for a new pilot program to help injured Ukrainian soldiers. While Vavarch still has challenges to overcome, one challenge he's not worried about is how to connect with the people around him.
Because there is so many people with different disabilities and they are very united. They don't have like interpreters here, but they have like Google Translator or something, and they can use technologies to understand each other. And the community here is very welcoming and warming, and they are excited to play with them.
Vavarch doesn't speak much English. Now he had this to say as he looks for his next challenge.
I will champion Ukraine.
A true champion indeed. In Birmingham, Bobby Portavent.
It's been a pretty gloomy and cloudy start to the weekend, and tomorrow it will be cloudy again. Temperatures reach the mid-50s. Then on Sunday, the sunshine returns right in time for Easter. 61 for the high temperature. Then we're looking at the mid-60s on Monday as we begin a warming trend. We'll have plenty of sunshine. We rise to the 70s on Tuesday. Then after that, we'll have a stretch of days in the 80s. 80 on Wednesday, 82 on Thursday, and again on Friday. Then after that, we're looking at 80s on Saturday before temperatures start to fall to the 70s as we head into the following week. Maxine?
And take a look at this. The moment the Orioles recorded the final out in their dramatic 7-6 win over the New York Yankees, those fireworks look beautiful. The Birds are now 4-3 on the year. Rocco DeSangro will have reaction from the manager and players tonight in a special Sports Unlimited at 10 o'clock.